a yoga class if you are a complete beginner to yoga and you would like to know some of the asanas or the poses and postures that you might discover in a yoga class if you were to attend live in person or online. So we're just going to start with a heart hold and start to notice your breathing. Starting to feel the heartbeat. And just paying attention to your lungs as you breathe. Noticing the natural rise and fall of your breath. Inhale, reach the hands up high. Interlace your fingers and press the palms away. Taking your gaze to the fingers as you breathe here. Inhale, exhale. Drawing the hands down, pushing the palms away here. Flipping the palms, rounding the spine, dropping the chin to your chest. As you breathe here, keeping the shoulders round. Flip the palms, take the gaze to the ceiling, lifting in the heart as you breathe here. Placing your hands facing upwards, resting on the top of the knees, the top of the inside thighs. And we're just going to start to draw a circle with our torso. As we mindfully breathe. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. And then taking the circle in the other direction. And just feeling all of the possibilities of your spine, your torso, your rib cage, with a deep core connection here as you breathe. Bringing yourself back to a neutral spine and just taking a few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, breathe deeply. Exhale, release. Staying where you are, I'm just moving to the side so that you can see me here. And from here, with our spine neutral, we're just going to round into our spine off the sit bones, rock the chin to the chest, and inhale, arch. Using your hands to support you as you move through these two spinal places and everything in between as you breathe here, moving through your arch and your curve. To arch and to curve. Lovely. Drawing yourself back to your sit bones, taking a few mindful breaths. Notice the rise and fall of your breath And then we're just going to start to take some shoulder rolls, feeling into the shoulders as you breathe. Inhale, lifting the hands high. Allow the palms to touch. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach the fingertips all the way up. Lengthening the spine, reaching out of the waist. Exhale, floating the hands down. Taking your right hand up to touch the back of the neck and just assisting a little stretch here as you breathe. Taking a few breaths here. And release the hands down. Inhale, reaching the other hand up. Placing your hand into the middle of the back if that's available to you. And assisting a stretch here. Just being mindful of the rib cage if it's projecting, and can you draw yourself back to a neutral spine with the ribs. And breathing. Feeling the expansion and release. Releasing the hands back down. And taking your first forward fold. Forearms to the ground. And then allow the head to fall. Taking some deep breaths here. And we allow our head to pull and release any tension in the back of the neck. Slowly and gently uncurling here. Taking the heels of the hands behind you, pressing them into the ground, and then just taking your gaze to the ceiling as you breathe here. Bringing yourself back to your center. Taking a few breaths here. Inhale, reaching your right hand up towards the ceiling. Lengthen and then exhale as you take your body over and resting either the forearm or the hand, depending on what you need. As you reach here, being mindful that both sit bones are connected with the ground. Inhale, reaching the hand tall. Exhale, floating down. Inhale, reaching the other hand up and away. And breathing. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, take yourself over to the side and either landing on your forearm or on your hand. And then just rolling your top shoulder open. Freeing yourself of any tension in the neck as you breathe here. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, floating down. Lovely. Slowly bringing the feet in a constructive rest, fingertips facing forward, heels of the hands planting into the ground. And we're just going to find some window wiper twists, spreading the toes as wide as you can. Lovely. This time allowing the knee to fall And then just sending the knee forwards to find a little bit more length, space and twist. And bringing yourself back to center, sending the pelvis back in space, flexing the feet, spreading the toes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, allow yourself to find your first forward fold. Heavy head. And breathing. Now wherever you land is exactly where you're meant to be, but just take a few breaths here. Relaxing at the feet and the ankle joints as you breathe here. Drawing up to your hands, keeping the spine long here as you breathe. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold down in your forward fold, heavy heart. And breathe in. Feeling the breath in your body. And slowly and gently bringing yourself to your comfortable seated position. Drawing the soles of the feet together in our butterfly and allowing the knees to fall outwards. Just having a few, like butterfly wings, just little bounces here as you breathe. And sitting tall on the sit bones, inhale. Exhale, find your forward fold, bowing the head towards the feet. And just taking a few breaths here. Slowly and gently rolling up through the spine. Drawing the knees together. Sending one leg long, finding the sit bones lengthening through the other leg. Interlace the fingers. And breathing here. Changing sides. Sitting tall. And again. Squeezing in the leg and down, and squeezing in the leg and down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, take yourself over to the side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, floating down. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, taking yourself over to the side. Sit bones stay on the ground. And breathing here. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, floating down. Bringing the feet, heels on the ground, interlacing your fingers around the big toes, peace fingers around the big toes. And from here, we're just going to find our connection with our sit bones here, lengthening the legs or keeping them bent depending on what you need right now. Option is to take hold of around the calves if you need to. Drawing the heart towards the ceiling here as you breathe. Slowly lower back down. Release the peace fingers here, crossing over the legs and then just rolling over your shins. Allow the toes to escape behind you. And then from here, we're just going to sort my mat. This one likes to ruffle. And then we're just going to take our legs wide here as we breathe. Slowly and gently taking yourself to a wide-legged child's pose. Either resting your head on the block in front of you, or forehead to the mat. Or if you need to, you can place your hands on two fists, stacked together, and place your forehead resting on your two fists. So just breathing here. Option is to draw the palms so that they face together in an overhead prayer, and then drawing the hands up to the back of the neck here, breathing, sending the heart forward. Inhale deeply. And exhale, allow the hands to reach down to the ground. Taking your hands over to one side. And breathing here. Hands over to the other side. And breathing, allow the sit bones to drop to the heels. Back to the middle. Lifting the heart so that the head's resting on the ground, and then bringing yourself back, guiding yourself back with your hands until you reach your kneeling pose. Drawing the knees so that they're just a little wider than the hips. Readjust your seat, bringing the heels of your hand closest to your butt cheeks. And then from here, you're just going to inhale, lift the gaze, send the heart forward, feel the shoulder blades squeeze in the back. And inhale, lift the hips. Slowly lower the pelvis after 2 breaths. And breathing here, drawing the knees together. Slowly and gently, just finding a twist for yourself as you breathe here. One more. And back to center. Finding your all fours pose, feet hip width apart. Shoulders stack directly over your wrists as you breathe here. I'm just going to take mine the other way. Breathing. Inhale, take your arch. This is our cow pose. And then exhale, rounding, find your cat pose. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Inhale to arch. And exhale to round. Push the ground away. And then slowly bringing yourself back to your sit bones. Kneeling, sitting tall here. And breathing. Relaxing in the jaw as you take 2 more breath cycles here. Lovely. Taking a moment to cross the hands, almost like you're making a butterfly. And then we're going to reach the hands over the head and just draw our elbows up and then lifting so that we arch in our spine here, breathing. Neutralize the spine, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, reaching the hands all the way up, uncross, and exhale, floating down. Reaching the hands forward, and we're just going to protract and retract in our shoulders. Reaching your hands in a neutral spine now as you breathe here. Stretch your fingers as wide as you can. Slowly just taking the mudras of each finger from first finger, second finger, third finger, and fourth finger. Closing both of the hands, squeezing the fists, making tight fists, and just rolling the wrists a few times just to warm up our wrists. If we're new to yoga, we might not be used to placing weight through our wrists. So this is really good to just start to condition the wrists for the yoga practice. And then we're going to press and squeeze here, opening and closing in our fists. Flicking, just like imagining we had raindrops on our hands. And we're just flicking here, flick, 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 flick. Keep going, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just shaking the wrists and slowly floating the hands back down here, taking a few moments to breathe. Feeling the breath in the belly. If the kneeling becomes uncomfortable, you can always go back to your comfortable seated cross-legged position. As we breathe in our kneeling, just taking a moment here to get comfortable wherever you need to be. Inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, finding your spinal twist. Taking your gaze to the back of the room here as you breathe. Inhale back to center. Exhale, float the hands down. Inhale, reaching 2 hands high and away. Exhale, find your spinal twist, breathing here. Taking your gaze to the back of the room, what can you see? And just feeling into your breath here. Maybe releasing any tension in the neck or the shoulders as you breathe, maybe the jaw. And bringing yourself back to center, neutral spine. Lovely. We're going to take our hands out in front of us and we're returning back to our all fours pose. We're going to spread the toes behind us, flexing through the feet. And from here, we've got a little toe stretch. So we're feeling a stretch down the backs of our feet and just breathing here. We're going to spread the palms as wide as we can and lift the knees off the ground and just take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower the knees down to the ground, release. Release the back of the toes now. Our right hand is going to reach up high, inhale, opening in the heart. And exhale, thread the needle through, resting your ear to the ground as you breathe here. Using your hand to support you, pressing into the hand, inhale, opening the heart. Breathing as you reach to the ceiling and float that hand down. Finding that on the other side. Inhale, reaching high. And exhale, thread the hand through, thread the needle into the ground. Just taking a few breaths for yourself here. Noticing the cause and effect of your breathing here. Allow your head to be heavy and finding some deep relaxation here. On the next in-breath, reaching the hand back up to the ceiling. And exhale, floating down. Now we're going to prepare for our first downward facing dog. We're going to tuck the toes under and lifting in the knees and internally rotating in the shoulders, pressing weight into your thumb and your first finger as you allow the heels to bend, drop down, and maybe a soft bend of the knees as you breathe here. And breathing. Slowly and gently walking your feet to the top of the mat. Soften the knees, bend your knees as you arrive. Hip width apart with your feet, standing in hip width apart, heavy head. Allow the back of the head and the neck to release down as you breathe here. Soft bent knees. And breathing. Standing into the legs and just bringing the hands around for the lower back and placing your hands on the lower back. Breathing here. Feeling the lower back expand and release with a breath. And then allowing your hands to slide down the legs and dropping down to the ground as you breathe here with soft bent knees. Reaching your hands back in space, standing into the feet. Inhale, press through the legs. Inhale, reaching high with the hands. Exhale, drawing the hands to heart center, folding at the hips, leading with the heart down over the legs. Inhale, lifting the head and the torso to a half lift. And placing the hands on your shins as you breathe here. Slowly lower down. Hands placing into the ground, stepping right foot back, followed by left to a high plank. Knees followed by chest and chin to chaturanga. Inhale, lying down, finding Sphinx. Lowering the torso, hands by the armpits. Inhale, pressing to lift. Exhale, finding your child's pose. Breathing here. Taking a few breaths. Inhale, shift back to your all fours, tuck the toes under and find your upside down triangle, reaching into your downward facing dog. Breathing here. Taking a giant step forward with your right foot followed by left to the top of the mat. Reaching your hands back in space. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, float the hands away. Inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, forward fold, soft knees, heart to the ground as you breathe. Allow the head to fall heavy over the legs. And breathing here. Inhale to half lift. Exhale over the legs. Inhale, stepping left foot back. Exhale, right foot back. And taking a few breaths in your high plank. Hips in line with the spine. Making one long line from head to pelvis to heels as you breathe here. Lowering the knees, followed by the chest, followed by the chin. Taking the lying down on your stomach. Release the toes and finding your Sphinx pose. Breathing here. Heart forward. Allow the collarbones to smile, drawing the shoulder blades back. Slowly lower down. Hands press underneath the armpits, shifting the pelvis back. Finding your down as child's pose as you breathe here. Shifting the weight forward, finding your all fours, tuck the toes under, finding your downward facing dog. Taking a giant step with the left foot followed by right. Reaching the hands back in space. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reaching hands high. Exhale, floating the hands down. Roll your shoulders up, back and down. Taking hold of each wrist or elbow here, pressing the hips forward and taking the gaze to the sky. Slowly and gently drawing yourself back to vertical, back to your neutral spine. Release the hands and give yourself a giant hug as you breathe here. Reaching the hands up high. Exhale, find your fold. Soft knees, feet hip width apart. Inhale, lift to half lift. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, right leg steps back to high lunge. Exhale, left leg back to high plank. Breathing here, shift the weight forward, lower the knees, followed by the chest, followed by the chin. Taking the lie down here, lower the pelvis, release the toes. Inhale to Sphinx pose. Heart forward, collarbone smiling, and just noticing the shoulders easy here as you breathe. Slowly release, lower the pelvis, hands catch underneath the armpits. And then we press into our hands to take ourselves back to child's pose. Inhale. And exhale, softening our child's pose. Breathing here. Taking a moment to settle in child's pose. This time, instead of taking ourselves to down dog, we're going to shift forward onto our forearms and take our lie back down. Lovely. From here, we're going to reach our left hand out to the side. Our right hand is underneath our armpits, and we're pressing our hips into the ground. Right knee bends here. And taking your left cheek to the ground as you breathe here. Option is to use the supporting hand to just slightly lift here and then slowly lower down. And breathing. Slowly taking your foot back and changing sides. And breathing here. Option is to just slightly lift up, just to feel a stretch across the front pectoral and release. And then slowly drawing yourself back to your lying down pose. Finding your Sphinx pose as you breathe here. Option here now is to take a full cobra pose. So we're going to lift up onto our hands and just see if we can walk our hands back in space, pressing the hips down. And then we're just going to slowly lower the chin and then inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. One more. Inhale, lift up. Soften the shoulder blades down in the back. Send the pelvis back in space. Tuck the toes under and stepping into downward facing dog. Breathing here. Stepping forward with your right foot followed by your left to the top of the mat. Reaching the hands back in space. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reaching high. And exhale, floating the hands down. Other side. Inhale, big reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding your hinge over the legs, finding your forward fold, breathing here, heavy head. Keep pouring the energy and the weight down into the ground as you breathe here. Allow your shoulders to soften. Notice any tension in the jaw or the back of the neck or head. And just pouring your weight down here. Inhale to half lift. And exhale, soften down. Stepping left foot back, followed by right. Lowering your knees, followed by your chest and your chin. Lying down with the toes back, pelvis lower. Inhale to Sphinx pose. Taking a few breaths here. Spreading the fingers as wide as they go, shoulder blades down in the back. Lovely. Taking a lie down here, allow the elbows to float out. Sit on a little pillow of your hands here. And breathing. This time taking your right hand out to the side. Right cheek to the ground, left leg out to the side, and breathe in here. Taking a few breaths here. Slowly drawing yourself back to center and just finding this the other side. And breathing. Slowly and gently bringing yourself back here. Lowering the head to your hands on the pillow as you breathe here. Draw the toes together so that they're reaching back in space here as you breathe on your mat. Feeling the rise and fall of your belly. And then reaching and extending the hands in front of you, head to the ground. Noticing your forehead on the ground here and just reaching your fingertips away as far as they go. We're going to inhale to lift our head and our torso and our toes just an inch above the ground as you breathe here. Squeezing the inside thighs, squeeze the glutes. And slowly lower down. Using your hands to support you, shifting your weight back. And then we're just going to find a kneeling pose. Breathing here for a moment. Allow yourself to breathe here, palms facing upwards. Taking a giant hug for a moment as you breathe here. Take a moment to notice which hand is on top of the other, which elbow is on top of each other. Inhale, spread the wings as wide as you can, and exhale, changing hands, finding the hug, and breathing into this touch. Release the hands, and breathing. Slowly bringing yourself over to one side to freely release the feet. And then we're just going to take a walk to one top of the mat on our sit bones. And back the other way. Until we arrive in the center of our mat here. Inhale, reaching the hands up high. Lengthen the spine, and exhale, find a spinal twist. No pressure through the hands, just resting in our spinal twist here, long spine. Inhale back to center. And exhale, drawing down, breathing here. And back to center. Inhale, reaching high. Reaching the palms facing forward, lengthen out through the spine. Heart leads forward as you lengthen the lower spine, and just breathe here, heavy head. Starting to notice the rise and fall of your breath in your back. Just breathing through any tension that's arising. Can you find a full state of relaxation here as you inhale deeply and then exhale to surrender. Finding your breath cycles here as you breathe. Noticing any tension creeping into the body or the shoulders, and just breathing and noticing. Slowly and gently drawing yourself up to your seated pose. Placing the hands on the ground and just looking up. And back to neutral spine, bringing the feet together in front of you, and then taking a hug around the knees, heavy head. back to our butterfly pose. Breathing here, maybe taking hold of around the ankle joints rather than the toes. And then slowly we're going to step our feet. We're going to prepare for a boat pose, so I'll take myself to the side here. We find our sit bones and we sit tall. We send our heart forward as we breathe here, drawing the shoulder blades back and down, breathing here. We're going to lift the heels and just dip the toes on the ground here, and then slowly and gently just lower about an inch, but keep the chest and the heart lifted. And bringing yourself back here. Lovely. Next time we do that pose, you can take the option of drawing the feet up, heart still reaching forward, lifting up as you breathe here. My heart is open by default. And then slowly giving your legs another hug as you breathe here. Taking yourself onto your back. And arriving, feeling your back imprinting into the ground here. Just taking a few breaths for yourself. Squeezing one knee into the chest, followed by the other. Knees to the chest. And then we're just going to draw a big circle one way, giving your back a massage into the ground. Big circle the other way. Squeezing the knees into the body, hands around the shins. Allow the knees to fall outwards and breathing here. Feeling the belly rise and fall. Bringing yourself back, drawing the knees together, soles of the feet planting down onto the ground, and then just taking them for another step out to the ground. Hands reaching out to the side. Allow the knees to fall in one direction. Take a deep, full belly breath. Allow the knees to fall in the other direction. Full belly breath. And bringing yourself back to your center. And then here we're going to take our Savasana. So just taking the legs to the outer edges of your mat, allowing the heels to roll and allow the toes to fall outwards, externally rotating in the hips. And breathing here as you soften. Feeling the expansion and release here. Keeping total awareness of your breath. And if any thoughts enter the mind, just gently allow them to drift by. Connection with the breath. And as you mindfully breathe here, just notice the sensations in your body. How are you feeling right now? And then taking a few moments here to breathe. Taking this moment to acknowledge that we are sky, you are sky, everything else is just weather. Thoughts and feelings pass. They drift by like the weather. Your breath is your constant, your companion, your life force. Taking breaths for yourself now, not breathing in any particular way, just allowing the breath to flow as it naturally does. And as your breath's flowing and everything is doing what it naturally does, just taking this time to feel into this moment and affirm, I am here, I am calm, I am present, I am joy, I am peace. And just breathing into the feeling of being fully in the here and now. A successful tennis player will meet the ball in the moment with the racket. Their mind totally aware and focused, present. A little reminder that if we are in past mode of reflecting on conversations, moments past, and questioning, I should have done this, I should have done that, all that internal chatter, just allow yourself to be in the here and now. Savoring the breath, and being in this moment. When you find your attention wandering to future thinking or anticipating futures that may fall mid-flight, maybe moments of anxious worry, or planning or organizing for the future. If you ever notice yourself in a feeling of overwhelm, or like you might need some headspace, you can return to the present moment by focusing on your breath. There is joy in being present. There is gratitude in being present. there is connection in being present. And then wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then taking yourself over to one side and just acknowledging how you're feeling right now, taking a moment here and breathing. Slowly and gently bringing yourself up to your comfortable seated position. Allow the palms to face the ceiling. Shoulders dropping down in your back. And breathing here. Bringing the palms to prayer. Relaxing in the jaw. Maybe fluttering the eyes open if they've been closed. And I just want to finish with the thought, the love and light in me honors the love and light in you. Take good care and namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining me in this practice. I hope that you have enjoyed moving mindfully with me. And if you have, feel free to subscribe to my channel, where I will be doing a range of different videos so you can access videos at various levels for various motivations to practice yoga. I'm Lauren Tuk Tuk, and thank you for joining me. I wish you well.